Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited you're here with me today. My name is Cindy, you know that, and we're here for another installment of our Women's Empowerment Series, Teacher Transitions, and I'm so excited to have Natalie here with me today. Welcome, Natalie. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, Cindy. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my goodness, it is so much my pleasure. I know we say this all the time because all my transitioning teacher clients, actually all my clients, wind up coming up with these really, really fantastic jobs. But yours is so super cool. And I think it was like written directly for you. Tell
Yeah.
everybody what you do.
Okay, so for the last 16 years, I've been a band director, and music education is really all I'd ever wanted to do. But in the last year or two, I started to realize I'm only at the halfway point before I get to retirement, and I just knew that it wasn't sustainable for me. So I resigned at the end of this past school year with no real plan. I just thought, you know what, I'm smart, I'm capable, I will find something. I'm not worried about that. But I was kind of going through a little bit of grieving of the loss of music education in my life. And so let's see, probably at the end of July, I believe it was, a friend of mine who is also a former band director showed me a listing for our local symphony, the Symphony of Northwest Arkansas, or SONA. They were looking for a part-time hybrid education director. And I remember looking at the listing and thinking, is this a joke or something? Because literally everything, yes, me, yes, I love that. Yes, that's my passion. That's what I believe in. Those are my values. And so I applied and went through one phone interview and then one in-person interview and felt good about both of them. And I got the job. And so I started, let's see, a week or so ago, just kind of getting my feet wet, and my general manager is the one who's kind of been doing what this role will be in charge of. And so he's doing a great job of, like, handing it over to me, but not dumping it on my desk and just leaving me to be. So the onboarding so far has been really great.
So you're really enjoying this transition here.
Yes. I had been wanting to find something where I could work at home primarily. And so this is hybrid, but all I really have to do is there will be occasional events that I'll need to go to either on a weekend or a weeknight on site somewhere. But as far as a week to week basis, I just have to go into the office for 4 hours each week. But yeah, so the fact that it's primarily remote and it's part-time, it's listed as about 25 hours a week. And I know that will vary, but I also have a side hustle. I'm a stained glass artist. And so I've really, over the last 2 or 3 years, I've been trying to get some momentum with that. But with teaching full time, I was just so drained every night that, I would make things, and that would be like kind of my therapy and my happy place. But as far as marketing myself, or attending workshops to figure out how to build my website in the best way, or how to use social media to my advantage, like, I didn't have the time for those things. And so I already have a couple of like Zoom workshops on my calendar that I'm able to do because of the flexibility of this new job.
Oh my goodness, how amazing is that, right?
Yeah, it's honestly a dream come true. That's why I said, like, when I saw the listing, I really felt like somebody's pranking me because this is just too perfect. So, I mean, yeah, I felt really confident the whole time during the interview process. And that is because of the prep that you and I had done. Honestly, everything about the coaching that I've gotten from you, from your videos to our live sessions, the main thing that I took from it is looking at everything I'm saying, everything I'm submitting from their perspective. And it seems so silly. I vividly remember your very first video, you said, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. And when you said that, I was like, yes, because you keep, you hear it all over the place. It needs to be relevant. It's got to be relevant. Talk about accomplishments, not tasks. But I don't know, there was something about the coaching with you that finally made it, like, when you would say, well, but if I'm the interviewer and you say that answer, how does that help me to picture you in this role? And so having somebody say that to me, it's like, oh, that's what everybody means when they say, and so, yeah, I really felt prepared because every answer, in addition to it coming from a very genuine, passionate, personal place, I was able to frame everything in the context of the position that I was applying for.
Thank you for that. I remember those sessions, right? I remember when you tell me these stories, I'd ask you questions, we'd mock interview, and you tell me these stories, I'd be like, okay, so that's a fantastic
Right.
story, but it has
But,
absolutely positively nothing to do with this job.
right.
And they're only going to see you as a teacher,
Yeah.
right? So they're not going to be able to see that you can make this transition, this pivot to another position.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was critical because it has been a decade since I've had to do an interview, and every interview that I can even think of in the last however many years of my life has been for a teaching position. Right. And so short of like some retail jobs in high school and college, like I had just been out of the game as far as being prepared for an interview, and certainly being prepared for one that wasn't teaching. And the resume help was, yeah, I mean, I get it now, right? And I see it, and I see like, and again, it's one of those things like you hear people say it all the time, like they're only going to look at your resume for like 6 seconds. But I remember one of the things about when I was first trying to redraft and reimagine my resume, I was having a hard time trimming the fat, right? And getting rid of the stuff that wasn't relevant, because in my mind, it is relevant, because all of those things have brought me to where I am and made me the professional that I am. But if it's not relevant to that job position, they just don't care. It's not, they don't have time. It's not an issue of that's not impressive but if it's not relevant, it's wasting space on the page and wasting their time, and just honestly giving you no chance to make sure that yours makes, like you say, make it to the yes pile.
And confusing them.
Yeah.
And it's confusing them a bit, right? Like some of these accomplishments are really near and dear, and they mean so much to you, and they are great accomplishments, but it's confusing people because, in what they're reading, and they're only reading for, 6 seconds, if it's not the right stuff. I remember that you told me at the first interview that the person who hired you actually remarked on how great your resume was and how easy it was for them to see you in this role and to see your accomplishments.
Yes.
Right? They remarked on that to you.
Yes. I was very pleased to get that feedback. And I thought, I'm really glad I didn't spend 3 hours one night trying to craft some beautiful, colorful, whatever. It just wouldn't have paid off in that instance.
Right. Actually, in any of the instances,
right.
but yeah. What was it like to make the decision to leave, and what were the greatest fears, and then what helped you get past all that?
Oh, goodness. Any transitioning teacher could give you a laundry list of reasons of why they love teaching, and some of them are systemic and some of them are personal, and mine's are all a little bit of both. But I just felt like I wasn't, I guess the test the litmus test that some people talk about is the Sunday scaries. And I had the Sunday scaries like every week, and everyone always talks about, but aren't you going to be sad to give up your summers off? Yeah, I like having my summers off, but I mostly spent July dreading August. So that's no way to really enjoy your summer. So I just knew, I thought, if I've been toying with this enough, and I really think it needs to happen. And I'm actually pretty, I'm a person who really values like security and plan and what are we going to do. So for me to have said to myself, yeah, this is my last year, and feel peace about that, I knew it was the right choice, because otherwise if I would have felt all, I don't know, wishy-washy about it, I'd probably just still be in the classroom. And I didn't want to be one of those teachers who, should have left the classroom a long time ago, because we have all come across those. I didn't want to be that, I was feeling less fulfilled. My students didn't know the difference yet, but I think it would have eventually bled over. So when I did resign, I felt equal parts excitement and terrified. Excitement at Man, okay. Well, so I've got the world in front of me. What do I want to do? And then terror because, okay, I've got all these choices. What do I want to do? So it was both, you know? Um, and so I spent some time on LinkedIn, like kind of trying to figure out like what jobs are even out there, right? With my spouse also being a teacher and my mother was a teacher, like that world is what I've always, the jargon and the lifestyle and all that, that's all I've ever really known. And so to try and start to understand and peek behind the curtain of what's going on outside the world of education and in the corporate world, what sorts of roles are out there. I mean, I knew that I would need a coach because I felt so overwhelmed at what is all even out there. How do you begin to trying to decide? And also I know, even though I don't know what a non-education resume looks like, I know it's not like an education resume. I knew I would need help with that. And so I'd seen your posts on LinkedIn and saw how positive you were. And that, you know, I think your primary target was like stay-at-home moms who are returning to work, but you also talked about transitioning teachers and anybody who's kind of basically venturing into something that's pretty different than what you've been doing.
Yeah, I work with a lot of career pivoters, a lot of transitioning teachers, even a lot of women who are in jobs and looking to move to another level, right? Looking to move up to something else like that, right? Helping people with that difficult transition of I'm looking to do something a little different than where I am. How do I do this? Yeah.
Right. And I love reading the testimonials that you post from your other clients about, you know, the intense interview coaching that you do with them and getting them jobs that are like six-figure jobs. And as a teacher, that sounds amazing, but that for me, that wasn't ever really my thing. Now, would it have been dope if I got a job that was six figures? Sure. But I'm so unbelievably fortunate and grateful for like the exact thing that I wanted is what I ended up with, part-time, primarily remote, and still in the arena of music education. Like I truly couldn't have asked for anything better. And if you are questioning, do I need a coach? You probably do. Like if you're thinking any of the thoughts, like I was talking about, like, it's been a minute since I've had to redraft my resume and I don't know how to write it for anything other than what I've been doing. I think you would benefit from the investment of getting a coach like Cindy, because all the time and energy that you would spend trying to figure it out on your own is often wasted time and energy and disappointment. And so I think her positivity definitely makes a difference, and her sharing these other testimonials makes a difference, because even though I still wasn't super sure what, you know, career area I was going to go into before I saw this job posting, I still wasn't, I don't know. I just had this feeling it's going to work out. Like I've got the resources and the tools from Cindy, and I know that my own experience is like, I'm going to get it figured out. So to anybody who's like still applying and still looking, just hang in there, and it will work out. And just take the advice, do the work. And if you are like me, and when you look at your resume, but this is important, it's not important to you. It doesn't matter if it's important to you. Is it relevant? Is it relevant to the job that you're applying for? Like that, it's weird at first to start trimming stuff, but once you get in the habit, it's like, okay, yeah, wow, this has nothing to do with it. So it gets easier the more you do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Natalie, for sharing your story. I am so happy that you found this amazing job that checks every box in your life, from being with music to having the time to work on your business to everything. So, yeah. And I wish you so much success.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you so much for all that you've done for me.